Hello and welcome to the Cafe Nightly Show. I'm your host, the Goldsmith. It's the 28th of August, 2024. And no news is good news. No, we do have some minor things to follow up on. No official announcements in the game of Upland, but it is the day before Sao Paulo's release or expansion's release. There's some reminders there for the Sao Paulo release. If you haven't taken a look at it yet, take a look tonight. Some interesting areas that are going to be released tomorrow. There are some collections that are held within. We'll go over the announcement one more time as people get ready for the Sao Paulo release tomorrow. Additionally, this coming Friday the 30th, 9 a.m. PT, there's a snapshot to determine what your multiplier is for the next coming airdrop. The airdrop for previously earned Sparklet prior to TGE that you held in the game of Upwind. This can be a very lucrative opportunity, a 5 times multiplier versus a 1 times multiplier. Again, huge variety of what your reward could be based on your participation in the gamified earnings. So that's another reminder to get those gamified earnings done, as many of them as possible. Get your score as high as possible, your gamified earnings as high as possible, and again, receive the highest reward you possibly can get. Pretty simple, pretty easy. We'll go into do some reminders on both of those, and of course, get the disclaimer out of the way. All views and opinions expressed by myself and mine alone should be taken as game strategy or financial advice. Any views or opinions that do come from contributors, as always, they do not represent the game of Upwind. They do not represent myself, the goals of the Cafe of the show. They shouldn't take his game strategy advice or financial advice. And of course, anything I have to say, again, doesn't represent the team or the game of Upwind. Easy, easy, easy. So a couple things on the release tomorrow. We'll take a quick look at the announcement, reminders, some basic reminders when we talk about releases of cities as well. It is something that we have people that do their first release ever. And it's nice to know what to expect. And then secondly, if it's been 2 or 3 releases since you've got a chance to take it seriously, you've been working through them like some of us do, or it's a bad time of day for you normally, and this is the one that happens to work out. Let's do some reminders on those and what that looks like. So take a quick look at the announcement here. Again, announcement did come out yesterday. It continues to be relevant as tomorrow, or the minting opportunities tomorrow, Sao Paulo. We are thrilled to announce the major expansion of starting Sao Paulo in Brazil. Again, 9 a.m. PT tomorrow. We don't read every word here because we did went over most of it last night, but just some key reminders. 22,000 overall properties, 4 expansion neighborhoods are coming, 3 collections out of these 4 neighborhoods. 1,464 UPIX is the lowest price. Highest price is 619,415 UPIX. Again, only 203 properties do have prices above 100,000 UPIX, which is a opportunity, potentially an opportunity for people to buy those larger properties, more expensive properties they choose to. So, but there's not that many there. So we know the majority of the properties are going to be a lower price point, with the average price throughout the new areas being 16,464 UPIX. That is a good price. This is relatively low. It means these are relatively inexpensive properties. What's nice about these properties is only a limited percentage of them is going to be reserved for FSA players. FSA total allocation is about 20% of the overall properties. Treasure Hunt tier is going to be tier 4. And yes, there will be an additional expansions of Sao Paulo in the future. So future expansions, yes, that is a big yes there. Expansion map, we take a look and remind ourselves. Consoloco, we have Bella Vista, we have Vista, and we have MoMA. And these are the 4 neighborhoods that we are getting. What we had previously, as a reminder, if you don't remember, then it's not a reminder, it is education. When we did originally have Sao Paulo, we had this portion of Sao Paulo over here, C, República, Santa Cecília, Liberdade. We had these areas over here, and then we had this space. And then we had some FSA-specific neighborhoods over here that were kind of separated over here from everything else over here. And now we're kind of filling in the middle between the bridge neighborhoods that are kind of making things out. Keep in mind there are additional neighborhoods in Sao Paulo, so there will be and they can be additional expansions. So expect those down the line, but right now, the neighborhoods we're getting are going to contain a total of 3 collections, so that'll be exciting. The Upland Bureau is minting 3 launch pads so people have an opportunity to send to those properties and drift in or glide in for the release. Avenida Ire, 767, Rue Groenlandia, 492, and Rue de Consoloca 2172. Again, in Brazil, very common. The name of the street and then the number follows. Nothing too crazy. That's just the convention. NFT.Brazil is going to be kind of having a little partnership with Upland, as Upland is going to be a major partner, major presenter. Yeah, let's go major presenter. Major presenter at NFT.Brazil this year. There'll be exclusive gameplay activation at the conference this year for Upland. So looking forward to that. Again, bringing in a Brazilian city with the opportunity to announce a partnership or an opportunity to announce a key role at the upcoming Brazil, NFT.Brazil. Obviously, is something that Upland is doing a good job of hitting the timing right on this. Get ready to dive into Sao Paulo's exciting expansion with new neighborhoods, thousands of properties, and hidden collections. This is your chance to make your mark. The journey begins on the 29th of August. Don't miss out. Pretty simple. A couple reminders here that are kind of interesting. First and foremost, the way these collections are being revealed is a little different. Collection has to be fully minted out before they can be revealed. We do know that if they don't all get minted out on the 15th of November, they will be revealed whether they were minted out or not. So again, each Thursday, any previously minted collection that was fully minted out, every property is available in it, being minted. That would result in the information released by Upland of what the collection was that was fully minted out, and then obviously the collection shows up in the game of Upland shortly thereafter. A couple notes on that. Again, Upland did kind of clarify if there's a neighborhood that only has non-available properties or locked properties that are not sold, that neighborhood or that collection, whatever type of collection it is, that will actually qualify as being fully minted out, and therefore we'll get the information of the fully minted out neighborhood or fully minted out collection of another type, and then we end up with that city becoming a new collection. We end up, or neighborhood becoming a new collection. You get that new collection, even though it hasn't minted that last property, because the last property isn't actually available to anybody at that time. Again, with the drift properties, it is important to get to the neighborhood early. Since you have the drift properties, you can kind of send to those properties and see where you glide. If you're not happy with your glide, when you're happy with your drift, you can send back to those properties. It kind of creates that opportunity of being able to make your plans and have the game of Upland take them away from you by having you turn your block explorer when that's not the direction you want to turn. Then you have to send back to the property. So again, this is something that is a part of the mechanics of the game of Upland. Being able to set a drift can increase your ability to mint properties in areas that may or may not be pretty highly speculated. Again, we see this in many cities where not every property has the same value, and the ones that are speculated highly of hitting a collection, those are the ones everyone is going to race out to. Again, the city is released in vanilla, meaning the collections are not revealed. The collections will be revealed, like I said, 1 week after they fully mint out, or the Tuesday following them fully minting out. Otherwise, it is a great opportunity to shop and buy properties based on your speculations, if that's the type of game you like to play. And then you'll find out if you were correct later. So be careful with excuse me, the quick flips of properties, because you may be surprised and find out you're holding on to a collection, or were before you sold it. The note here that I want to make when we look at these opportunities and people buying and flipping is, since we don't know when the collection will be revealed, this does change the dynamics of people buying and saying, okay, I'm only going to hold for 2 weeks. Well, maybe we don't know if it hit collection or not for 5. And if that's the case, that could significantly change people's plans. If you think that you're buying something just to sell it, keep in mind that collection hit, that opportunity to know if it hit collection or not, that may not be the same again with this new method. Now, I will say that with this new method, again, it keeps the focus, the eyes, the thoughts of the community on that city still, because they're looking and questioning and thinking, what properties are left in the collection? If I go and mint those properties, hit collection, obviously, and then I will be able to use our collection in the game. But if that's the mentality here, I think that does change things. But it also makes it so that we don't have this, bifurcation halfway through a city release or within a week of city release, where you have buyers and sellers, and you have a lot of sellers who are willing to sell pretty low because their properties didn't hit collections, and the people who are buyers are often interested in the properties that hit collections. So you end up with a bunch of sellers who don't have a lot of buyers available to them because their properties aren't what everyone's after. So because of this method of delaying the released information and not releasing information if it's not a fully minted out collection, then we make it so that we have a little more time with this idea of, do I want to own this property for whatever reason? If it's all about speculation, then make your own decision. I have plenty of my own thoughts on speculation and where it lies when it comes to the hierarchy of why you're doing what you're doing in the game of Upwind. But again, it is something that we do continue to look at this as likely being a dynamic that is going to fall in future cities. So expect it to be a regular thing. Expect that we're more than likely going to have collections that don't reveal themselves immediately, that don't reveal themselves necessarily at 1 month, that are going to be more of things that get phased in over time. All right. Let's look at two more things here. Again, this coming Friday, there we go. This coming Friday, 9 a.m. PT. That is going to be, that's the wrong one. This coming Friday, that 9 a.m. PT, that is going to be the snapshot. That is something that you want to make sure you get as many of those gamified earning tasks done so you get higher points along on the board. This is something that we know that can be lucrative. The more sparklet I have, the better. Again, reminder here, you can get 0.25 multiplier by bridging in at least 500 additional sparklet. So you got a couple days to do that. When watch the sparklet goes up and goes down and goes up and goes down. It's a crypto. That's what they do. But if now is a good time for you to pick up some sparklet, bring them in the game of Upwind, that's a 0.25 multiplier boost. And again, as I mentioned, as we look at these, the more you complete, the higher multiplier of your original points that you would have earned or spark that you would have earned by having them at TGE and holding them until now. All right, pretty easy. Again, this is something that falls under the category of gamification or fun during the season, but significantly motivated. There we go. Motivated by a reward. So the reward is, the more you participate, the more sparkle you get. People participate more. That just makes sense to me. And again, this is not this is not an uncommon circumstance. And then the one other thing, obviously, we are in totem season. Keep in mind that it is a 30-day cycle. So if you're starting to feel a little itchy about your totems and 4 times a day, more than likely when we get to the end of this upcoming cycle, there we go, upcoming cycle, we're not going to have a ton of or we're not going to have a quick turnaround. There we go. We're going to have a decent amount of time before we have our next totem activation period. Again, this is no guarantees. There's no information from Upwind, but I would guess that Upwind gives some time on that recoup side of things, and also just the reality of timing of the year and everything else going on. It would be nice to have something else go on and then come back to totems. As much as I cry that we didn't have totems for 8 months or 10 months, it would be nice if we have, a variety of activities. We do the totems, then we do something else, then we do something else. And as long as we're doing something else, and just continue to be having that variety there and potentially bringing in a new set of Upwind customers. I'd love to see that be the case. For tonight, that's about what we've got and brought out and pushed out by Upwind. Good to see you, Jerashad. Good, but it's nice to see that we are continuing to have these small things that we don't have to always have a big city like Paris get dropped in the game of Upwind. I don't want to waste those big cities if we can avoid it, but it's nice to have these little small expansions over time. Again, thank you so much for being here. 9 a.m. PT Tomorrow is going to be the Sao Paulo release. Be ready for that if you are so interested. And then, of course, Friday, 9 a.m. PT, that is going to be a snapshot for Sparklet. But for tonight, if you're listening in the Upland Discord Cafe, feel free to unmute your mics. The floor is yours.